Hi, I'm Britt.
And my name is Alissa.
And this is SkeleTales.
And this is the podcast where we strive to answer the age-old question of, is my dead grandma watching me?
You know how on Halloween, after trick-or-treating, your kids come home with a shit ton of candy, like real good stuff, Twix, maybe those whole Reese's cups shaped like little pumpkins. And you say, you guys can only have 5 pieces of candy because sugar's really bad for you. And then as soon as they go to bed, you grab that bucket, you sit in front of the couch, and proceed to eat at least 20 pieces of candy because sugar is so good. Well, Grandma saw that.
She saw it. And
Yep.
and then she gave you that cavity that you got. And then she gave you the diabetes. That's it. She made and that's how you got diabetes. You say, thanks,
And
Grandma.
are toothless.
And toothless. Your teeth fell out. We give out Play-Doh and like fake tattoos and stuff. That's what we ended up doing. But
Oh, so I'll avoid your house then.
okay, well, you enjoy that diabetes, and I'll be building you some insulin and syringes
Play-Doh
out of Play-Doh. See if that works out for you. Yeah, I'll just be happy with my Play-Doh.
Oh, Lordy.
Britt, do we just talk about dead grandmas giving you the diabetes?
Only some of the time. We tell, most of the time, true tales of the strange, unusual, and paranormal. Do you have any of those stories today?
I do, Britt. It's getting close to the spooky season. So
We are in the spooky season.
You're right. It's getting close, so close. It's on top of us, and it's almost over, actually.
By the
We are
time
so
this
in
airs,
it.
it actually will be over.
Okay, well then, shit. Now my plan is ruined. What is the date?
Go ahead.
I don't even know. Oh my
Pretend
God.
like
Okay.
it's Halloween night. There you go.
Yeah. So it's Halloween, and I was like, you know what? I don't feel like we tell enough like really spooky, scary experiences on here. So I have a story that will make you scared to die. So that sounds pretty terrifying.
Okay.
I don't know how to
Maybe
set
I
it
won't
up.
be eating those 20 pieces of candy. on
Okay,
Halloween
exactly.
night.
This might change. You'll be eating carrot sticks. Okay, so this goes. I drove home from work around 10:30 p.m. My husband and his friend were drinking a few beers. We were all young and decided to drink. I forgot that I had taken a couple of sleeping pills before getting home.
Oh,
I
no.
I drank a lot of Goldschlager and fast. I started getting sick, headed to the bathroom to throw up, but I passed out. At first, I was just asleep, but then I was jolted awake. When I woke up, I couldn't see anything, but I could hear my husband and my friend joking about how I couldn't handle my liquor. I tried to talk, but they didn't hear me. All at once, I realized a lot of things. Knowledge flooded my mind. Everything I learned from here on out was instant. I knew I was dying. I knew I was no longer in my body. I tried to look around me, but could see nothing but light. This light was the light shining through my body's eyes to where I was. I instantly knew if that light disappeared, that I was not going back into my body, and I would be forever stuck in this other place. This place was not really a place, though. It was vast, dark, and unbelievably alive. The darkness was energy. It was beings. At that time of trying to compose myself, I noticed the light getting smaller. I instantly knew I was being sucked backwards in a tunnel that was made of beings that were not good. These beings were taunting me, laughing. They were willing me to be sucked through this tunnel. I call it a tunnel because I have no other words to describe it. I knew I was going to a bad place. I knew once I was there, I was not coming back. I panicked. I tried to grab at anything or anyone to stop the pull of the real me through this tunnel. Then I realized I was nothing more than a ball, like a bright ball of energy that was almost attached or somehow a part of the other energy balls. People's beings, I'm not sure. I was shocked to realize I had no arms or legs, no face, no human characteristics. It was me. I felt like I had arms and legs and so on, but I didn't. If I thought of something, a question, it was answered. If I talked, it was in my mind only, and every energy around me could hear and respond telepathically. The light is almost gone. I hear my husband and friend become stressed, saying something is wrong. They were trying to wake me. I started screaming for them to call the ambulance. Of course they couldn't hear me. I still tried. They were putting me in a cold shower to try to wake me. I could hear them struggling with my body. They were drunk and I was frustrated. They were not calling the ambulance. I was yelling for anyone to help me as I'm falling. When I left my body, I was in total darkness, but I was still attached to my body by a spiritual umbilical cord. Please understand, there are no human words to describe my experience. And no, this is hard for me. I'm 44 now, and this happened when I was 20. I have not been able to talk about this. Anyway, I'm falling and I'm trying to figure out how not to snap that umbilical cord. I start calling out to my higher power and I start willing myself towards the bathroom light. My husband sticks his fingers down my throat to make me throw up. Apparently that and me willing myself back and calling on my higher power saved me. I never made it past the point of no return. I learned that we still can be taken the wrong way after we die, that these entities can change the darkness into a place familiar to us. They can change themselves into people we know, but we also have a choice to follow them. Please be kind. The end.
Moral of the story: don't drink Goldschlager.
Don't drink Goldschlager. This is what it will do you.
Holy shit.
Isn't that intense?
That's so intense.
Okay, so to make everyone feel a little better though, I also saw a bunch of stories that were similar, and apparently a lot of these experiences that are negative are linked to experiences with drug and alcohol and overdoses. Like they're all a very similar experience. And then also a lot of people have said that when they call out to a higher power in this place of darkness, that's when they get sucked back.
Well, and that is kind of similar to what she had said too, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Calling out for the higher power, and then that combined with the husband. Oh my God. If she had died, her husband would have felt like such an asshole laughing on her on the bathroom floor. She can't hold her alcohol.
Right.
Oh God.
Yeah, that's not not a good look.
Glad she came back.
Oh, you should probably, what the fuck? Why? Like she can hear everything. Why didn't you call the ambulance?
So pissed.
But I do wonder if those kinds of experiences like are possibly intentional to try to scare the person straight. Right after that. Although I don't know, I'd be like, so many people in these NDEs are like, I'm not scared of death at all. I'm not scared of dying at all because it was such a lovely, beautiful place. I was embraced in warmth and everything. And
some people regret not deciding to like go to the light, like we've talked about. Yes,
but this was
not
like,
in this case.
No. So maybe it's like, I don't want to do that again. You better get off the drugs and the alcohol and those peanut butter cups, Britt, and then you'll live. Was that too dark?
Having a peanut butter cup? No, it is. It's so it opens the mind to the different possibilities that are out there. Her talking about how it's like balls of energy. Yeah. Got me thinking though, like maybe there's the heavenly, bright, white, my loved ones are up there area. But then is this like kind of darker balls of energy, the ghosts that roam the earth now, the lost souls, like who didn't make it to the white light? Like what? I'm just so curious the rules of it all.
They're taunting her though too. Like it's almost like, I mean, like the demons or hell, right? Like a lot of people say that you have a preconceived, like whatever you believe is what you're going to see. Although there's a lot of stories about like I was a devout Catholic and I thought I was going to see Jesus, and that is not my experience whatsoever. And it like just changed me into a different person who was like very spiritual. Other people go on the flip side, right? I did not believe in anything. And then I saw Jesus and now I'm like a devout Catholic. So it seems kind of like a free for all. But yeah, I don't know. I'm sorry, everybody, if that one really scared you or depressed you. But Britt's got she's bringing some laughs today, I think.
You know, I am
the yin and yang of it all.
Changing trajectories completely.
Okay.
I have now been contacted by 3 separate people. I think you've even been clued in on this one. There is a haunted house in Texas, which I think is why people have been sharing this with me.
I've not seen this.
You haven't?
No. I also don't I'm in a state of denial of emails and all messaging. I gotta approach it.
Get ready for a special little peanut butter cup treat in the form of a story.
Oh, I'm so excited. Okay.
I'm going to read the article that was shared with me, and it is a local Austin news called K-View. I actually did not look to see who wrote it, but it gives me a good excuse to use my Texas accent again, too.
Okay, yay!
No one would confuse a small house on Denton Street in Gainesville, Texas for a moving company. But if you do move in, you haul yourself right back out. And quick. It's like a revolving door, says Linda Hill, the home's owner. The longest anyone stays... Oh, she's a female. Let's try it again. The longest anyone stays in this house was 6 months. Years ago, Hill and her husband bought several homes in the same neighborhood in order to rent them out. The one on Denton Street was the only one that couldn't keep a stable tenant. Hill said that she and her husband had no idea why. Then finally, after 10 tenants moved out in less than 2 years, someone told her husband that the house was haunted. At first, Hill didn't believe it. Nah, she says, now, not at all. And that changed when she happened to take a shower on the property. Through the curtain, she saw and heard a dark figure whisper, "Looking good," at her. At first, she assumed it was her husband until a few seconds later when her husband walked into the bathroom. He said, "Who are you talking to?" And she says, "Oh my God, it really is haunted." Rumor has it that the house was built in the 1840s and it used to be a bordello. And that's why Hill said many of the ghosts here tend to reveal themselves in a particular nature. Sexual, she says. There's no other way to put it. Hill said several people have recorded EVPs, electronic voice phenomenon, where the ghosts can be heard talking dirty in the house. Oh baby, yeah, Hill said, mimicking what was heard. Yeah, I like it like that. Not all the ghosts here are that way, though. There's a door in the upstairs bathroom that regularly opens even after it's been shut tight. Oh, and there's also a 19-foot well underneath the living room. Some people believe it's a spiritual portal, which they have said may explain how so many different ghosts and spirits have ended up in the house, particularly in the room right next door to that well. The murder room, Hill said that room is called. Why that name? Because some psychics claim to have seen a dead man lying on the floor in that room. No, really, almost every psychic that walks in here, Hill said. For those reasons and many more, Hill eventually gave up on finding tenants to lease her property. Now she rents the house out exclusively to people who want to investigate the ghosts that reportedly live there.
Oh.
So I was just curious if I could find a paranormal investigator who's actually like gone to this house. I found someone on YouTube who has, and the house, it's kind of just a dingy old house, but it's so bizarre. In the living room, there is a well with a plexiglass thing over it. Like you can literally look down into the well in the living room.
That's like alone. That is a nightmare.
It's the thing of nightmares. I think it still has water in it. Like it's
were
not
they renting it out before, even before
with the well?
The well was always there. Was it always plexiglassed over when they were like, why are people moving out? Well, maybe it's because you have a fucking plexiglass well in the middle of their living room. Like, what? Or covered. Oh, God.
So I watched a news report, did a video of the house, kind of walked around, but they showed the bathroom door where this door kept opening, and Linda Hill's there, and she's pulling on the door, and it's and finally open because it's an old house, and you know it was so hard to open, and she's like, all right, now I'm gonna close it. She closes it, and she's pushing the door in to like close it tight. It is like a very messed up door.
Yeah.
Opening and closing. And then they showed the footage of this door just opening, whoop, easy breezy, like
without anybody there.
Yeah, some footage that a paranormal investigator got. I was like, okay, that's pretty cool.
Like, I want to see a ghost, but I've never even considered, I don't know, a pervy ghost. That's not like, no. Like, I don't know what is worse. Is it like a ghost under your bed or standing in a corner that's just observing you creepily, or one that's
watching you shower?
Oh, yeah, baby.
Oh, baby.
That's like a whole new category. The pervergeist. What is that one from Harry Potter? Peeves? It's just pervs. Like, I mean, honestly, if you are a perv and you die and you have a choice to become a ghost, that seems like the dream. You would think, like, if you have a they're like, I could be like invisible and just peep on everyone,
peeping on all the nudes
in the shower and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God,
just hang out in the well until someone's naked and be like, "Hey, baby, I like it like that."
All the ghosts, they are like pervs. That's it. That's who really made that choice. Man, I have seen something with a well that has been plexiglassed off. I don't know if it's that house, but like I've seen that before too, where they're like, oh my God, look at this well. It's 200 years old. We better put it on display and plexiglass it so people can look into this dark ass creepy hole that happens to have old rocks and bricks. Like, no, like, what is the fascination there?
I mean, water is a conduit. We know this. But so it could be.
Maybe there's like a little creature that's living down there. It's not actually a ghost. It's just like a little creepy troll. It's perv troll, like a real pervy little troll that climbs
like crawling out. Any of the things.
All of it.
No.
Oh my gosh, that is hilarious. Love
but somebody was like, you and Alissa should go there. I was like, pass. Nope. Let's go to the one that has the like the Andra, the jazzy ghosts. Let's hang out with those guys. We don't need pervies.
Okay, wait. If it meant I could see a ghost, but I also have to be sexually harassed by a ghost,
probably fondled at night while
submit
sleeping.
myself to sexual harassment and ghostly fondling in order. That's the trade-off.
Yeah.
I guess I would do that. Yeah, sure. I guess it's consensual then. But yeah, I mean, it's better than like stabbing, like getting stabbed by a ghost or something. There's worse options, I suppose.
Let's not go to the stabby haunted house. Oh yeah, I thought you'd get a kick out of that one though. It's pretty good.
That was beautiful. I really, really enjoyed that. Are you ready for my next story?
So ready.
Good, because I'm not. Hold on a sec. Okay, so my next story, Britt, comes from a lake somewhere, not in Denton.
Oh.
But
did it write in to the email, the hot box?
No, it did not. Did the lake write in? No. Okay. Britt, you're going to be excited about this one, and you might be mad at me for not saving this for a future episode too. So I apologize because you did try to get me on board with a theme today, and I don't know how to use my text messages effectively to respond.
Nobody can hold us down and pin us to a theme.
Okay. Well,
regularly.
nobody can hold this down either.
Okay.
Ooh. Is that a teaser?
Ooh.
I don't know. That was not a great hook. Just listen to my story. Okay.
Okay, I'll listen.
A few days ago, I traded 2 of my kayaks for a nice canoe. I took it out on the river for the first time yesterday morning. I was alone, and I had every intention of paddling about 4 miles upstream to the campground where I was staying. I started around 7 a.m. Either way, about 2 miles deep, something on shore caught my eye, and I knew exactly where to look, only I couldn't see anything. Although I did think I saw a shape sort of resembling a man crouched down on the side of a tree at its base. But the closer I looked, I realized the shape wasn't a man at all. It was nothing. I was convinced my eyes were playing tricks on me. Shortly after, I got spooked to the point where I wanted to just get the hell off the river. I realized it was shorter just to turn back around and go back to my vehicle at the boat launch. So that's what I did. As I paddled past the point where I thought I saw a man, I looked over, and what I saw was so strange, I was pretty unaffected by it. I can't describe my calmness. It was almost some sort of rite of passage or knowledge suddenly gained and accepted. There was the shape of a man, a large man or being, distorted right at the edge of the shoreline in front of many trees down the river's steep banks. All I can compare it to is Predator. But only the Predator. Do you know what I'm talking about?
The black creature that's kind of hunched over.
No, from the movie.
Or am I thinking of Alien?
You're thinking of the Alien. The Predator is almost like, it's almost like a digital, like when you blur something and digitize it or something where you can see it, but it's like a little bit scrambled and distorted. So that's what Predator is. So when he runs through, it's almost like a blur. So, but he's invisible, but really he's just matching his surroundings. Okay. So all I can compare it to is the Predator, but only in the sense that I was seeing an outline of a shape that was clearly invisible or camouflaged. 3-dimensional features of his body are slightly visible by the bending of the light. I saw no features on this body except for his outline. It was undeniable. I looked to the other shoreline, half expecting to see another being, man, or whatever this human-like shape was. But I was wrong. This shoreline was calm and peaceful, undisturbed. In a desperate effort to debunk what I had just seen, I looked back to the opposite bank to where the shape had been, expecting it to be gone and allowing myself to be much more at peace with this river. It was still there. Its right arm now positioned motionless as if it were waving at me. I don't think it was waving or taunting me. Comparing it to a wave is the best way to describe the position. I became pretty spooked again and just looked away. I paddled hard and I didn't look back. It was strange because I know whatever was on the shoreline was watching me as I paddled away. I'm pretty sure this thing scared me out of the same woods 15 years ago. I'm trying to find someone who can help me understand what this thing is and why there's a possibility it might be watching me. Also, pretty sure this is relevant. Both times I believe I encountered this thing were near rivers, different rivers in the same town. Okay, so have you ever heard of a cryptid named Glimmerman?
No. Oh,
so
I am so into this.
Right? I'd never heard of it either. So people are like, oh, it's Bigfoot. But apparently there's, I have not looked into it deep enough because I was like, ooh, this is spooky. This is weird. Britt's been bothering me to do cryptids forever, just harassing me about cryptids. And
Glimmerman sounds so fun, like a disco fella.
Yes, he might be my favorite so far. But I think there's a theory that Bigfoot and Glimmerman are the one and the same, in that Bigfoot can camouflage himself, and that's why people don't like. You can't. He's so hard to pinpoint and find. But I looked into it. I did find another little bit of a story about Glimmerman.
God, it's so good.
And apparently sightings of this Glimmerman are becoming more common, like more people are seeing him.
Yeah, I wasn't sure where this was going. I was like, transparent? Is it some kind of spirit?
I think I just like his name. I don't even care what he looks like. He just, like, the name sounds like a disco ball. Is that what you said already? Or I'm thinking of Glitter Troll.
Disco.
From that movie? Okay. So
yes, 100%. That's what I visualize.
Okay, because I've never heard of Glimmerman, I was like, there's got to be information out there. So I found this on phantomsandmonsters.com, and it says Glimmerman entity encountered at abandoned U.S. Air Force radar station. And it says the witness and his friend were exploring the abandoned Brookfield USAF station in Ohio when they encountered an unknown beeping and an aggressive Glimmerman entity. The witness, Joseph, claims that sometime in November 2002, he and a friend decided to head to the abandoned Brookfield Air Force Station located near Brookfield, Ohio. It had been abandoned since about 1986 after previously being a nursing home. There were about 30 empty buildings on 10 acres of land surrounded by overgrown vegetation and a barbed wire fence. Police regularly patrolled the area to keep out vandals, though many of the locals, like Joseph, spent much of their youth roaming around the old base. Joseph believes he had been there more than 100 times, and as an adult, Joseph still liked to go up to the area occasionally and shoot guns, hike, etc. The base was about 1/10 of a mile from his home through the woods. There was a hole cut in the fence which allowed easy access to the property. On that chilly November 2002 day, Joseph and his old friend Tori decided to head to the base to do some shooting. Only Joseph was armed. There was light snow on the ground as they made their way through the woods, following a deer path to the wire fence. Joseph noted that it was unusually quiet that day walking in the woods. No sounds of animals, no wind, no nothing. At the time, he didn't think much of it, but looking back, he believes that it was strange enough that he remembered it. After finding and crawling through the hole, they eventually made their way onto the base, walking through knee-deep grass. The beeping sound. As they walked towards the buildings, they began to hear beeping sounds, which they found to be odd given that the buildings hadn't had power since the late 1980s. As they got within 5 feet of the building, the beeps increased and became louder. They eventually made their way through an open garage bay door, and this is when the beeping went crazy. Think a metal detector zeroing in on metal. Tori became frightened. Joseph noticed that there were 2 doors leading into rooms, one of which was closed. He found this odd because every other time he had come up, the doors were open. The beeping was coming from the room with the doors closed. So despite Tori's misgivings, Joseph kicked open the door and entered. The beep slowly faded out, replaced by a loud droning sound. He noted a device sitting on the floor about 3 feet away. Initially, he thought it was a pipe bomb. He thought he was going to die. It looked like an air compressor with wires on its left side going into a rectangular box with a cylinder attached to it. I have no idea what it was, Joseph recalled. He wondered if the police or maybe the Marines who occasionally trained on the base had put it there. Tori was frightened and insisted they leave. Joseph also shared that feeling. They decided to head back to the fence and get out of there. As they made their way through the tall grass, things got very quiet. They both stopped, sensing that they were being watched. All of a sudden, they could hear footsteps coming through the overgrown brush. That is when they noticed, across the field, that snow was bouncing up and the grass bushes were parting as if something was going through the grass, something they couldn't see. It was the weirdest thing, Joseph said. The invisible entity. Joseph could see the outline of what appeared to be a human, but it was transparent. He could see through it. He could see the brush on the other side of it, but it was distorted like an optical illusion. Both men became frightened and headed for the fence. Joseph and Tori both kept an eye on it as they moved. They noted clear indentions in the snow. Did you hear what I just did?
Indentions, huh?
Yeah, only because I can't believe I just did that. I'm very sleep deprived. And it actually does say indentations. I just reread that in disbelief that someone else had written indentions, and they did not. You've contaminated my brain and my vocabulary.
You're welcome.
Okay, so they noted that there were clear indentations in the snow and the brush, and snow was moving as if somebody was trudging through the grass, but they couldn't see anything beyond an outline. Even stranger, Joseph claimed that it seemed to completely vanish occasionally and then come back. It trailed them, but never got more than 30 feet away from them, except when they neared the fence. At some point, Joseph stopped and raised his rifle at the thing. This seemed to anger the entity. There was some brush that stood about 15 feet high, and it separated like somebody drove a truck through it. It was coming hard. Snow was flying. Brush was flying. Joseph aimed at it, but for the first time ever as a hunter, he felt a real sense of dread, like he should not shoot at it. His friend Tori also urged him not to shoot, as it would only make it worse. They eventually found the hole, and by this time, it was full sprinting on them. The two men rushed through and into the woods, keeping their eyes on the semi-invisible entity. Joseph noticed that it had stopped at the fence. It was almost as if it wasn't allowed to leave. Then it was gone, like it evaporated. 3 weeks later, Joseph returned with another friend, and they spent hours searching through every abandoned building and never found the beeping device, nor did they ever encounter the entity again. Looking back, Joseph senses that the thing he encountered was something evil and that it meant to do them harm. He likened his sighting to the alien in the Predator films, but noted that while similar, it wasn't the same. So apparently this was pulled from a video. So in the comments section of that video, it goes on to say, excellent to hear because I'm very familiar with the radar base in Brookfield, Ohio. My grandmother lived in the woods right behind it on Stewart Road. As kids, we would journey there from time to time through the woods on a special secret hike. We would get in through a hole in the fence in the woods. In a word, eerie. I am familiar with the beep and the garage. My cousin John and I heard the beep, but we never knew where it would come from. The beeps did not speed up, just loud beeps spaced out a few seconds apart, coming from somewhere. There was definitely something going on there. After it had closed as a nursing home, there was still mail being delivered and collected regularly. Fire hydrants were still being kept up to date. Telephones were still on and ringing. Dogs were kept in select areas inside locked abandoned buildings. This was many years after it had closed and not a soul was around. However, you always felt as if you were being watched. At times, the police would show up, and being as we were kids, we would take off. But how would they even know we were there? There was definitely something governmental/UFO always surrounding this place well before the famous UFO incident. See 1994, the Trumbull County, Ohio UFO incident. Oh, Jesus. We don't have time to go down this rabbit hole. Okay. And at times, ghost-like things occurred that is too long to type out here. We would hear sudden, loud, unexplained things, bangs, noises right within our vicinity that we could not determine if it was a person on the next floor who should not be there and that we didn't see, or the grounds that were haunted. We would also hear things in buildings, and this place is a place in the middle of nowhere. No houses or people in this site. It is a fenced-off area way back off the highway. The UFO incident simply sealed the deal for us. Awesome to hear this, because the few folks who lived right around the area always suspected something just had to be up with that radar base. Oh, sorry. And that was excerpts from the UFO Chronicles podcast, episodes 36, Chased by an Invisible Entity, published on January 27th, 2020.
Okay. Here's the plot. I figured it out.
Okay. You solved it.
I've solved it. A family has to go into the witness protection program. They've witnessed something terrible. Their life is at risk.
Okay.
And so they sign up, but there's a government agent there. And he's like, we've been testing out this new product. It'll make you invisible. That way your lives can be spared and you won't be hunted down by this villainous gangster. I don't know who's after them. And they said, it's that or we die. So yes, sign us up for this invisible witness protection program.
Okay.
And so they said, okay, each of you take this pill, or maybe we'll give you a shot. And to activate it, you must turn on this box. It's really obnoxious and beeps, but it's the only way that you can stay invisible. And we're going to set you up where no one will find you. This old abandoned, was it an asylum? And was it an asylum?
It was an
Hospital.
Air Force base. And then before that, it was a nursing home.
nursing home. We're going to set you up in this old nursing home and you can live your days in peace because no one will be able to find you because they can't see you. But then they keep getting these ruffian kids coming up on their property with guns, kicking down doors. And so there's nothing else for them to do but chase off these hoodlums. And that is how we've discovered the invisible family of nursing home.
Glimmerman? Okay. Glimmerman.
Well, that doesn't make sense for the creature that was on the side of the lake, but that is, it is a wild
why
story.
can't they just live in a normal old house like that? Like they gotta then also, okay, we'll make you
because
invisible,
the
but
government
then that'll be weird. Everyone will be weirded out. So we're going to put you on this weird old asylum. But why couldn't they just at least put them in like a nice normal house, not a weird abandoned nursing home?
Well, the government has to keep checks
radio
on them,
station.
You know, they can't be slipping, they can't be slipping invisible people in then a random neighborhood. It has to be all, off the grid a little bit.
Okay. My theory, very plausible. You're most likely absolutely 100% correct. But my theory, maybe, there's a couple things. One, I think these entities are not necessarily inherently evil. I feel like maybe they are testing humans or something. Like the one was waving or like, this is what a human does. Wait a minute. I will wave and raise my hand and just hold it here. Okay, wait a minute. I think I got it. I got it now.
I'm ready.
Okay.
I'm ready.
Oh my God. So apparently, have you heard of the Great Glitter Shortage Conspiracy?
No.
Are you aware of this? I swear everything is connected. I just became aware of this, I believe, just yesterday. So apparently there's a glitter shortage, basically a big glitter shortage. And there are two major glitter manufacturers in the United States, both in New Jersey for whatever reason. There's some that is like an anonymous source of glitter. And then there's one that's called like Glitter X or something like that. So the New York Times did an interview with like the founder, president, I don't know, CEO of Glitter X. And it was so bizarre and cryptic because they're like, who's the biggest manufacturer or your biggest buyer of glitter? Because there's this glitter shortage. Also, if you didn't know, glitter is made from water bottles, like little bits of plastic that have aluminum like applied to them, sprayed on them through some process. The process is top secret. This guy was not able to go into the factory. Buyers, like, it is like, who knew?
What?
Okay. The production of glitter is like such a top secret process. He couldn't even go to the factory or anything. He was able to go to the warehouse. Okay. So he asked this CEO or whatever, who your biggest buyer is. And she was like, oh, I can't tell you that. No way. I can't tell you that. And he's like, why? He's like, because they don't want you to know it's glitter. And he's like, what? Really? You can't tell me? She's like, no. And you would never guess. You would never guess what it is either. And he's like, so when I'm looking at this, I wouldn't be able to tell it's glitter. She's like, well, you'd be able to tell it's something. I can't say anymore. So there's this whole thing that someone is buying huge quantities of glitter that is
enough to make a national shortage
of glitter. So then there's like these things where, like jet skis have glitter paint there, but they're mentioned in the article. There's also things that are mentioned in the article, like motor craft paint is sparkly and shimmery, and that has glitter in it. One theory was Crest toothpaste because there actually is plastic in it, but they don't have the aluminum like exposed. But and then there's another theory that's the military and they're using it as anti-aircraft stuff. Wait a minute.
Oh,
maybe
shit.
It's fucking Glimmerman all over. So you can tell it's something, but you wouldn't know it's glitter because you can't see it distorts it.
Oh my, you win. I want that to be the answer so bad.
He's probably like, I'm not Glimmerman. It's Glitterman. Not Glimmerman. God damn it.
Yeah, assholes.
But aside from the glimmer, like, isn't that fascinating? And it has to be something like, look around your house.
Curious.
What could it possibly be that they don't want you to know? You cannot disclose it because they don't want you to know it's glitter. And massive amounts of it.
Impossible amounts of glitter. Oh, my brain is reeling.
Right?
What could it be? Oh, that's awesome.
Isn't it?
I didn't know there's a glitter shortage.
I watched the whole PowerPoint on it. It was very entertaining.
Oh, man.
Possible. Okay, plausible. But yeah.
God, bringing it this week, Alissa. I love it. Glitterman, wrongfully labeled Glitterman. Love it. I have another story that isn't glimmer or glitter related in the slightest, but it is pretty demonic. Would you like to hear it?
Ooh, okay. We're going to bookend this one with demons, glittery demons.
No glitter, but
no, okay. Sorry.
I read this and was like, I have to share this story.
Okay.
This comes from Jay. 4 years ago, I was 22. I do a lot of various sports and used to switch from training for each one at different times. So I was about 275 and bulking to power lift at the time. So just ripped as shit, Jay. Just keep that vision in your mind. The day was warm. I think that's
called swole. I think the kids call that swole. I was like searching for that word and I'm so happy. He's swole. Okay.
So good. The day was warm and largely uneventful. I was off work and had spent the day doing several workouts and eating in order to get in form. Swole. But now my body was sore and I had done everything for the day, so I was off to play Skyrim. I think that's a video game.
He's definitely swole. I have no idea what Skyrim is. Anything with rim in it.
I played till about 10:30 p.m. when I got a knock on my door. When I opened the door, nobody was there. I'm not jumpy, but something spooked me when I closed the door. I couldn't get comfortable, and I had the feeling that something was there with me. I stood up to get water and was suddenly thrown to the ground, the way I would be able to throw a toddler to the ground. I threw my controller so hard it broke, and I flew back, hitting my head on the corner of the couch. It bled so much from that little cut. When I got back up, I called an ex-girlfriend. Let's call her... What? What are we going to call her? Who's a girlfriend of a swole bro?
A swole bro's girlfriend is... Hannah.
Tamara.
No, Tamara.
Hannah reads books.
Tamara? What are you talking?
Turmeric.
Addison. Her name is Addison.
Oh my God.
Oh my
Such
God.
an Addison. Such an Addison. Okay. When I got back up, I called an ex-girlfriend, Addison, who was very spiritual and into these sort of ghost happenings. Such an Addison. Perfect name. She had me cleanse the place and declare very loudly that this is my house and whatever it was had no right to this space. The second I was getting ready for bed, my power was cut and I was in complete darkness. When I checked the breaker inside, it was fine, but the main breaker outside was open and flipped off. I didn't think anything of it, but when I went back into my house, the feeling of unease hit me again. I called Addison, who said that she could come over tomorrow. All I had really told her was that I was scared and felt a presence in my home. When she came over, she looked into my doorway and screamed, "Ah!" saying that she saw something that was about 9 feet tall and with pale glowing eyes, and that this thing had never been human. She explained while outside of my house that it could not pass the threshold without being let in, but that it would not take no for an answer. I still live here, and it's still here with me. The worst that's happened since then is that glass bottles will shatter on the counter if left there for a few days or more.
Okay, my theory, honestly, when I heard he's calling this ex-girlfriend, she's like, "Oh, I'll be there," because I'm like, "Oh, wait, she's a witch or something, or this is a big elaborate ploy to get him back." And she's like, "You need to move out of here immediately. You come to my house.
I have extra blankets here at my house. Yeah.
A pale-eyed 9-foot creature. No. I'm not okay with that, but it cannot pass the threshold, and it turned off his breakers on the outside and pushed him, and he's like, I'm safe in here as long as I have my freaking Skyrim. I'm safe.
Well, it's in the house, right? Like, she wouldn't even go into the house, Ivy Eve.
Oh, wait, it was in the house, not outside the house? Sorry. It was inside the house?
She was at his doorway. He opened the door and let this demon in.
Okay.
She's at the doorway. She has a sensitivity.
Okay.
Witchy. He opens the door to let her in. She's like, "Oh, fuck no, I'm not going in that place. There's a demon in there, 9-foot tall, green eyes." She won't even go in.
Oh, she went past the threshold.
Yeah.
I thought.
But she said that the demon he opened the door for the knocking, and that is how the demon entered the house. He let the demon in. He answered the call. And now it will not leave.
How many times do you think it knocked?
3 times. You know it was fucking 3 times.
It was 3 times. Oh, man. So I just have this image of him and the demon playing Skyrim together, getting swole. Playing Skyrim, making their creatine shakes together and protein bars.
The only thing he does is breaks beer bottles that are left on the counter because they're like roommates. He's like, "Fucking clean up after yourself, bro."
Exactly.
Oh my God. I love that vision. Oh, so good.
A great story. I love it. Nice job today, Britt. That was fun.
Man, this was fun. I'm loving it.
Yeah.
Perfect way to tie in a bow the end of the spooky season.
Yeah. Wow. Wow.
If you have a story that you want to share with us, demonic, glittery, pervy. Okay, don't send us your pervy
stories. If you had a near-death experience. Okay, what did we cover today? Near-death experiences.
Pervy
demons,
ghosts.
Pervy ghosts.
Yes.
Glimmerman, the great glitter conspiracy. What are your thoughts on that? It is
yeah, I want to hear some thoughts. You can write us at our hotbox, which is
SkeleTalesPodcast@gmail.com. You can also call us on our hotline.
302-689-DEAD, 302-689-3323. We are on all of the social medias out there, SkeleTales Podcast. And you should join us because we are posting some awesome shit that you don't want to miss. And you can also DM us over there.
You can do that. Also, hey, you should check out our merch shop. Did you already say that? I totally spaced out for a minute there.
I didn't.
Was not present whatsoever in this conversation.
We've got some buttons. Please buy these haunted dolls that are twins wearing denim and looking at me very creepily from my office.
If you don't want them for yourself, you could gift them to somebody. Someone out there deserves them. You could freak somebody out. Could we even include like a little creepy note from them, like from a strange return address that no one knows? Like, hey.
I'll do it. If you want to mysteriously send these creepy ass dolls to a frenemy, I will write a very convincing, horrific note for you.
Yes.
I'll do it.
And it will come from like a return address that won't make any sense too.
It won't. Oh, it's going to be so good. I'm planning it for you.
Yes.
You can go there though, SkeleTalesPodcast.etsy.com.
Yeah.
To buy those guys.
Like, follow, share, do all the things. Every person you tell helps out the podcast. Encourage people to write in. Ask all your friends and families if they have any spooky experiences that they would like to tell. Or just if they tell it to you, you write in. We'll take it. That third person story. Love it. Anything else, Britt?
Yeah, someone wrote me a note the other day, and it could not believe it. It said, "Haunt y'all later."
Haunt you later, and happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween. Good night.
Good night.